Good morning. It's only Tuesday. I swear to God, it feels like a whole week went by. It's Tuesday. It is Tuesday. How y'all doing? Welcome to LoveBabz, Love Talk on Babz Rawls-Ivy. I am delighted to be with y'all this morning. I'm a little tired. I don't know why I'm tired. I guess I do know why I'm tired. Because, I'm lifting weights and the weights are getting heavier. I think I think the workouts are really working me out. I got to work out today, but I work out with my peoples, my girlfriends. So it's not the heavy lifting. So I think Robert's like, we're gonna get it in on Mondays. When you walk in here on Tuesday, it'd be light work for you. I was like, okay, Robert, whatever. Good morning to you. How's everybody doing? So listen, the brothers last night had their phone call. Black Men on the Call, hosted by Roland Martin and brother governor of Maryland, West Moreland. And so, they had 30,000 brothers on the call. They raised $1.6 million in a few hours. Listen, these black folks ain't out here playing. White folks don't know what to make of this. White, white folks don't know what to make of this. First of all, they don't know nothing about the Divine Nine. They don't know nothing about black groups and clubs. They might know something about the Black Panther Party, but beyond that, they might know something about the NAACP and maybe the Urban League. Okay, I'll give white folks those three things, but beyond that, they don't know nothing about black people. This is where the divide is in this country. They just don't have any idea the power of black people because it's been taken for granted and ignored for so long. We're the ones that show up and vote. We vote. We vote. And we vote heavily Democratic. We were the ones that got Biden elected. We couldn't get Hillary elected because not enough white people was voting for her. And it's like, you know what? Black women can't do it all. But apparently we can because we're going to do it for Kamala. So anyway, we don't raise money. The black women, we done raised, I don't know, $80 million in a day. So there's that. We mobilized. The Divine Nine the presidents of the Divine Nine have come together, launching a voter registration campaign, Get the Vote Out campaign. They're working on it as we speak. That's going to be pretty powerful. People got their pearls and their Converses out. Here are mine. Here are my cons. My Chucks. These are my Chucks. My pearls. Pearls. And I got pink pearls in solidarity. I got a yard of pink pearls that I love, But they're long. They're too long to be playing around with. These are okay to play with. So yeah, so I see the Republicans, well, Donald Trump is whining about whatever. I don't know how they like a leader that whines. He looks like a bitch ass whiner. I don't know why they think that's attractive in a leader. Wait, and JD Vance is trying to come for Kamala because she never had any babies. She ain't birthed no children. I was like, well, what? Y'all don't like women no way. So, and women of color you hate even more. So I'm just trying to understand now you concerned about the reproductive status of women of color? Well, what is it? You ain't had no babies either. And you're a liar. And you're a turncoat. And you're two-faced. Like, what the hell are you talking about? And your wife has more in alignment with Vice President Harris than she has with you. Knock it off. Come if you want to. Come if you must. Come if you will. But I'm going to tell you something. We are in the season of FAFO. And if you don't know what that means, ask somebody. We are in the season of FAFO. We're not playing. We're not playing. We're not playing. We out here and we marching. So I tell you something else that got me heartbroken that woman that was killed by the police officer. She called the cops because it was a she thought there was a she thought there was a burglar somewhere on the grounds of her property or in her coming to her apartment or whatever. Uh and they came and she's at the kitchen and they're asking her questions and she's got a pot of boiling water that she's taking off the stove and he shoots her, like kills her. And the cameras show that he just kills her. And he gets arrested for murder. Arrested for murder. So, well, so he got arrested for murder. He's charged with murder. Good. I hope he goes to jail for the rest of his life. And in his little statement, he's talking about, oh, she said this, she's gonna throw hot water on me. And the video shows no such thing. She wasn't gonna throw no hot water. She wasn't gonna do any such thing. Anyway, anyway, just a lot. So, anyway, I just need a little bit of silence for that because that's just, you know, killing us wholesale. Just uh yeah. So we move forward and and see if we can keep pressing for justice. That's what I would say. Keep pressing for justice. So anyway, back to uh back to the world in which back to the world in which things are. Uh, there's a great deal of things that will break your heart in the world. Uh, and there is a there is a moment where you have to harden yourself to things. That there is a moment in life in this world that you have to steel yourself because there are things in the world that will absolutely break your heart. But at the same time, you have to keep a soft heart so that you don't um, become so cynical and jaded by the horrors of the world that you retract from the world and that you become hard. I don't think that's what God has intended us to do. And make no mistake, it is absolutely painful to see the horrors of the world. And there are people who see them firsthand, right? There are people that see it firsthand. There are people that have have experienced it in person. There are people who have endured unspeakable acts of inhumanity. And it will take a lot try to keep a lightheartedness about yourself and your place in the world because there are things that could just cripple you and break your heart. You know, I can't abide seeing people hungry. I don't understand when I see people hungry. I don't understand it. You know, so I give to hunger serving organizations. I don't like to see children trafficked and exploited. So I serve on a board that works to eradicate the exploitation of children for sex and labor. You know, so I mean, you know, people always think that they can't do anything, but you can do lots of things to help make the world a better place. Sometimes it's putting in some time somewhere in an organization that you care about. And sometimes it's writing a damn check if you're able to the organizations that do the work about the things you care about. It's that simple. It's one or two things, or two things, and two things, and three things. I get to be able to do both things sometimes. One thing all the time, the other thing all the time. Do you know what I mean? So I make my giving about what I care deeply about. I care deeply about politics. I don't often make contributions to politicians, not because I don't care in what they do. I do. And money is necessary in politics. And I know people get all hot about, you know, we need reform and okay, that we do. But in the meantime, they need money to run these campaigns, right? They need money to buy the materials to put out what they stand for and what they believe in. I get it. I get how people feel like, oh, whatever, whatever. But we are in an age where you need money to reach the masses. You know, this is what it is right now for the world, for the world of politics. And we have to face that. You gotta you gotta face it. So I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So yeah. So anyway, so you know we are fast and witty people. So they're gonna, you know, Biden, I mean Trump and JD Vance gonna start bandy about DEI hire for Kamala. All right, we're gonna go with it. Dedicated, exceptional, and intelligent. That's what we're gonna go with. We got what else you got? Dedicated, exceptional, and intelligent. What else you got? Come on now. I know you got something else. Ah, ah, you know, I'm just saying. Although I will say this, they need to be a little mindful about bandying about the word felon. There are 19 million felons in this country. I am one of them. I vote. I'm sure a good many of those 19 million would vote if somebody would corral them and talk to them in a way that was not disrespectful or dishonorable. We are not the scourge of the earth, contrary to what people like to think. And you know, we can't say in one breath second chances or as many chances as you need to make a life for yourself, and then on the other hand say felon. Donald Trump ain't been to prison yet. He's been convicted, but he's not gone to prison for any of the indictments levied against him. He's guilty on all those charges, 34 of them. He's not served any prison time. So although it makes him a felon, yes, it does. He does not represent all felons. And so when you attach that word to him, then the rest of us bear the brunt of that too. That's all I'm saying. So just be mindful of how we talk about prosecutor versus felon. You know, that's all. There are 19 million people out in our country who are felons. That's a considerable voting block, if you ask me. So, okay, the judge hasn't accepted his conviction. Yeah, but he's a felon on some other stuff, not just the 34 counts, but the other things. So, anyway, I'm listen. I don't need a judge to tell me he's shady. I know he's shady. He been shady. He come from shady people. You know, anybody that would spend the kind of money they spent to keep black people out of their housing developments in New York City is shady. Anybody that would take out a full page ad against 5 children because he believes they should get the death penalty because he believed that they raped some woman, these children, kids, and take a full page ad out in newspapers in New York City calling for the death penalty of these children, black children. Any man that would cheat on his first wife and marry the second wife and cheat on her with the third wife is shady. Anybody who talks about his grown-ass daughter the way he talks about her in a very sexualized way is shady. Anybody that'll say in a conversation, I'll grab him by the pussy is shady. That's not locker room talk. I've been an athlete pretty much all my life. I have never heard that. I've never heard that in any locker room that I've been in. I played basketball, tennis, volleyball. I played all the sports. I've never heard nobody talk that way. Maybe girls don't talk that way. I don't know. But I have brothers. I have 2 brothers. One was a captain of the football team, and another one was a basketball player. They all was athletes. I've never heard them talk like that a day in my life. You know you shady when you set up a whole charity and you steal from it. Your own charity, you steal from it. That's shady as hell. You start a whole university and you steal from it. It has to be shut down. The university has to be shut down. The charity has to be shut down because it's shady. Shady. So, you know, I don't really need a judge to tell me, you know, the content of his character. He's already showed us without any help, live and in living color. He's already given the content of his character. He don't got none. Wait, and he's hanging out with Epstein. As a matter of fact, he met Melania through Epstein. Shady. I don't got no shady friends. And if I do, they the right kind of shady. You know, there's a right kind of shady, and then there's just despicable shady. I'm just saying. But if you ain't from nowhere, you don't know, you know. But they're shady. So, you know. So now he can't call Kamala Harris an old lady. She's hot. She's 59 years old in high heels every day in well-fitted suits. He looked like a tired old man, rambling, rumbling, just throwing out words. He just throws out words. You know, throwing out words. And all the people that follow him, you know, they all sticking sanitary pads on their ears and stuff like that. It's just ridiculous. Ridiculous. They didn't stick band-aids on their body for the Sandy Hook kids. I don't see them walking around with bandages for all the school shooting of children. I don't see that happening. Why aren't they wearing that? Why not they? How come they not wearing bandages and let's not kill kids in this country t-shirts? But you're gonna put makeshift bandages on your ears? I don't want to live in a country where people are so cavalier and so low on the bar. So low on the bar of humanity. Because that's what it is. You just low on the bar of humanity. You know, it's just unconscionable. I don't get it. I don't get how people could follow along that foolishness and not see it. Although, well, they do see it. They like it. They like it. So I was like, all right, okay, go ahead. Do your thing. But I'm gonna tell you what. Let me tell you something. Them black women, 44,000 black women was on a call and raised a bunch of money. There's some black men on a call last night and raised some money. But they don't hear, here's the thing, and people will be like, oh, how do you think black communities stay afloat? How do you think some of these clubs and organizations and these after school programs stay afloat? You think it's just because grants and money? There's people coming out of their pocket to make sure these kids have what they need. You walk into any program and I'll show you there's a group of parents working on behalf of these children. You go into any black ass neighborhood and there is an army of parents working on behalf of that. So, I just believe that white folks just don't know anything about black people in this country. They just don't. They don't concern themselves with black people. They just don't concern themselves. And when you don't concern yourselves, you come with a level of ignorance, that's based on false information all the time. All the time, false information. So that's all right. We could show them better and we could tell them. Tell them we rising. And that's what we doing. So she got the delegates that she needs. So when she walks into convention, she got delegates. She got the delegates that she needs. So now, they hired Eric Holder's law firm to do the vetting process for the VP. And that brother gonna be deep in it. That brother gonna be deep in the weeds with these people. Because you know what? Can nobody get in the weeds like black people? They ain't gonna leave no stone unturned. I'm gonna tell you right now, ain't none gonna get past them. Nothing. So now we talk about this Cheeto woman, the CIA director. There's something about this whole mess that does not sit well. She's about to be the scapegoat. She's about to be the scapegoat. It's a damn good scapegoat too. You know. Uh I just I am I am fascinated by the way in which they are coming for her. I mean, yeah, they're asking her real questions like, and the brother was like, the brother senator was like, or congressman, he was like, I was just trying to, I didn't have no opinion about it. I was just waiting for you to come here to tell us, and you don't know nothing. I think they set her up. She's set up. She's set up to look this terrible in this way. It feeds a narrative. It feeds a very insidious narrative that one, women can't lead these kinds of organizations. That's number one. She's a white woman, so this is they had to weigh this long and hard. Should we come for her like this? And the fact that she was misinformed and information wasn't funneled to her is quite telling. Now, that little boy on that roof was up there for a while before somebody did something about it. And for them to say he posed no threat, um, I don't know about y'all, but I feel like if I see somebody on the roof and he ain't one of ours, That's a threat with an assault rifle. You know, he's about 400 yards away. He's a bad shot, I must say that. That's all right. I'm not saying he should have killed anybody, but somebody did die from his, you know. I had the Secret Service dealt with that, uh, nobody would have lost their life except maybe the cat on the roof. So it makes me think about, why did they allow this to go on? It's a risky, it's a risky shoot, right? It's a risky gamble, right? Because in my mind, they wanted something to happen, you know. Did they orchestrate it? I don't put anything past anybody when they have an agenda that they want to come across, get across. And it just seemed quite suspect. All of it feels very loose and suspect to me. And maybe because I grew up watching Columbo. So I gotta ask all the questions. I gotta be like, nobody saw him get up there. Somebody had to let him in. That's not an easy building to just be scaling. You know, somebody had to see somebody walking in the crowd with a assault rifle. And how do you get in? There's security on the periphery. So how do you get in? Somebody had to look the other way while you were coming through. That's the only way that kind of stuff happens, right? Did you not have enough Secret Service and enough local law enforcement to seal off entrances and exits? And don't you sort of look at every building as a potential place where something could jump off? Like, don't you survey and inventory the buildings and check all the buildings and make sure it's clear, you know? And then post people at buildings, because you have to be thinking, what if? I don't know. I mean, I'm just running through the paces of how I would think about this if I was the director, you know, and I was orchestrating a security detail for this. So it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, it really doesn't make sense. So not only should she be fired, but everybody under her should be fired. You know, and it's unfortunate that she was set up this way, because I do believe it was a setup, you know. But that just means she don't got no loyalty within her ranks, because ain't nobody watching her back. Nobody watched her back. So that says to me, they ain't like her no way. They didn't want her in that role because nobody had her back. Nobody. So she's set on fire by herself. So all those under her, who probably had no regard for her, was probably waiting for an opportunity to exploit so that she could. And I bet you the next person they put in ain't a woman. I'm just asking the questions. You know, I'm not in Congress. I'm not in that room. I'm just sitting over here on the radio looking at it from, you know, uh, I'm just sitting here looking like everybody else. Incompetent that looks intentional. It was intentional. There's so many threads about this that make me go, that just seems easy. That just seems orchestrated. You know, they had no problems with her before. What's the problem now? No, because they needed to create this moment for Trump. And I think they did. Listen, this is gonna be my own conspiracy theory. I'm gonna go with this forever and a day. And I bet you 20 years from now, somebody gonna rat it out. Somebody gonna tell it. Somebody gonna write a book. Somebody gonna be like, somebody gonna do an OJ Simpson. If I did do it, if I did do it. See, what had happened was, uh, so, so I I don't want to see any woman burned at the stake because this country hates women anyway, and burning women at the stake is just old hand for them, so they don't care. The fact that she's a white woman might be a little disconcerting because they don't ever want to persecute white women. She could be of childbearing age. So it really looks like they probably thought long and hard about persecuting her. But it plays into their narrative of we don't want women running these kinds of organizations because they don't have the skill set to do it, the wherewithal to do it. So that plays into that narrative as well. And then it serves them to sort of create some kind of assassination attempt for Trump so that he could rise up a little bit. I know it seems like a long way to go, but as for these people, it's not a bridge too far. I don't think it's a bridge too far for them. I think they operate in that level of you know, grifter. It's a it's not even a hustler's mentality. Hustlers have style. Grifters, well, grifters gonna grift. And Trump is a grifter. He comes from grifters. He's a grifter. So, what are you gonna do? So yeah, so she probably gonna lose her job. She's gonna have to take the fall for this. I don't see how she's gonna be able to keep it. You know. I don't know how I don't I don't know how she's gonna stay. And I don't know how she's gonna push against all the voices that are clamoring for her head, you know, you know. So uh anyway, I'm just saying. And it's just a wild time. So we'll see what they do. We'll see what they do. You know, we'll see what they do moving forward. Little challenging. But you see they got some hearings rather quickly. You see they got to that. So anyway, at 10:15, I've got Hamden Assistant Chief Shelley Carter coming on. And she's coming on because they're starting Girls Future Firefighter Camp. It's going to be in Bloomfield this year. And I don't know if this is the first time they're doing this. Um, so the young ladies between the ages of 13 to 18, a pathway to a career in public safety, which I like this a lot. Like somebody is forward thinking. So they're going to be doing it Friday, July 26th from 8 to 4. Saturday, July 27th, 8 to 4, and Sunday, July 28th, 8 to 12. And graduation is 1 o'clock. Family and friends are welcome. Anyway, all of this is free. We just need girls to show up and do it. So she's gonna come on, and I'm delighted to talk to her and say congratulations, but also to hear about this, to really get into what this camp means. What does she want it to do? What is it intended to do? That kind of thing, you know. So I'm excited. Girls firefighter camp. Come on, girls, get in there and let's fight these fires. Learn something about a career in public safety. And so I'm going to ask her, how many careers are there in public safety? I mean, we know firefighting, yes. We know police. I think we know EMT. So, let's listen and see what that entails and what's required to have a career in public safety. What is required? So I'm looking forward to having that conversation with Hamden's assistant chief. New Haven has an assistant chief too, sister. And I'm going to be talking to her soon. So I'm going to get these sisters on. Let's have a conversation about, the climb. Yes, it's live. I said live. Yes. Yes, yes, it's a live radio show. Yes, yes. How many times I can say it? I said it in the original, you know, it's live. So I put it in the chat. Anyway, yes, be good. So I'm excited to talk to her and then hear a little bit about her story. You know, how did she know she wanted to um fight fires? Like, how do you know that? I guess you know, like you know anything else, if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer or you know, if you want to be a nurse or you know, the avocation calls you, you know, it just it speaks to you. You know, you're like, oh, I think I could do this. Yes, you can. And so you set upon a path and you do it. So yeah, so I can't wait to talk to her. She comes on at 10:15. It'll be a wonderful conversation. I don't know what else is going on in the world. Um, I've been so consumed the last 2 days with uh, uh, with the Kamala, Vice President Kamala Harris. I've been following that and consumed, you know, and you know that kind of thing. Um, so we'll see what else is going on. Oh, let me also tell you, I had a wonderful conversation on the porch yesterday. Um, you know, there's this let me see, let me pull it up. Let me pull it up. So SHA is a neighborhood navigator. So the state requires the city to do its 2035 future planning, vision planning. So it's required. And so it means that the city has to ask the citizen what they envision for 2035. And so they called for volunteers to help have these community conversations uh, in community, right? And uh, uh, and so so Charmaine McAllister, who does community engagement for the International Festival of Arts and Ideas, um, called and said, "Hey, can we gather on your porch?" She put out a flyer. She did one at Possible Future. She did one here yesterday on the porch, and it was a wonderful gathering of women, just very intimate, like five, six, seven women, not that many women, you know, not that many, but I took a great picture, which is really nice. But it's Vision 2034, New Haven's comprehensive plan. So we had women on the porch talking about New Haven's Vision 2034 comprehension plan as a roadmap for the city's future. And so we were all encouraged to discuss issues, ideas, and opportunities uh, related to life in New Haven with other New Haven residents. So we gathered some women on the porch. It was an info session from 5 to 7. It was a wonderful conversation of what we think. And she had some really great handouts, you know, to think about. I put them in my recycling bin, but to think about how we see New Haven and identifying key components of things, you know, like transportation and access to education, all those kinds of things, and whatever else we could fit in, and what should be connected and not connected, and all that kind of stuff. And it was a rich, honest, engaging conversation. And I do think some things shaked out that were not considered in the packet. So it was wonderful. So it was a nice cross section of folks. If you it's up on Facebook. My pictures are up on Facebook. Um, Yex, the poet and school teacher, Helen Calder, Dory Dumas, NAACP, Julia from Known, and she's a master gardener, Ife Gardine, my bestie, and the leader of Culturally Lit, and Karen DeBoles Walton, who runs the city's housing authority, Elm City Communities, and then Shaw. So, but it was a wonderful, thoughtful, engaging conversation. Oh, and Finn was here. Finn Wiggins was here, and Dr. Allison Regan was here. Regis was here. She dropped off books. So did Helen Calder. And so if the weather holds out, we'll do it again on Thursday, because Thursday is Christmas in July. So if the weather holds out, Sha will be here too, but sort of in the background, if people want to have a conversation about what the 2034 vision is, you know. So anyway, it was a wonderful opportunity to just have I mean, we have real conversations on the porch anyway, but this was very New Haven specific conversation about what we need. I mean, Karen spoke eloquently about the need for housing, and that the need for housing has to be spurred on from the state as well, right? Like the state has to sort of commit to housing in Connecticut, particularly low income housing. But there's a shortage of housing stock all over the place, even though we're seeing a lot of housing being built, you know. And Julia talked a lot about green space and what that looks like, and invasive and native plants, which you don't get a chance to ever talk about or think about in spaces. So I really enjoyed that very much. you know I really enjoyed that. uh so everybody has something to think about. Yex talked about um um doing something that's way more responsive. The 211 number being reinvented to be more responsible to citizens. Who's going to argue that? No one. And I spoke about transportation because I care deeply about transportation, but I initially started talking about art as an economic driver. And it is an economic driver, but it's not treated as an economic driver. We don't treat arts as a real plus for this city or for the state. We just don't. I don't know why we don't do it. I think we see it as a nicety, but we don't see it as part of an economic structure for the city. The arts hire people. The arts employ people. The arts connects people to other businesses. When you come into New Haven for a show, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna have a drink before, or you're gonna have dinner after. Dinner before or dinner after. You have dinner before and then maybe a nightcap after. Do you know what I mean? Or if you get downtown early enough, you're gonna stroll and see the shops. You're gonna stop. You're gonna do all the things. That is economic. That is economic development. That is economic foundation. That's all the things. But we don't treat the arts like an economic driver as it should be. I don't think so. And so when you talk about arts, and employment and those things, you can't not talk about transportation. How do we move people in and around the city? It shouldn't be difficult. I was talking to a friend of mine, and they said there is no such thing as traffic in Detroit. There's no traffic in Detroit because they have a system that is sensitive to how cars move, and we need that here. Maybe artificial artificial intelligence would be greatly used to monitor the traffic systems so that it can tell when there are more cars or not. There's nothing more unnerving than 11 o'clock at night sitting at a light in a neighborhood that is questionable. I don't care what anybody says. There are neighborhoods. I live in a questionable neighborhood. I don't want to sit at the light for 2 minutes. I want to get on down the road because 2 minutes make me feel vulnerable. And then 2 minutes make me look like a sucker. And then 2 minutes make me a victim. So I don't like that. And I'm not disparaging the character of the people that live in this community, but I also know carjackings are a real thing. And if we could keep the flow of traffic moving, that goes a long way to not allowing somebody to make some moves that they shouldn't be making. I'm just saying. I live in this neighborhood. I'm not just talking out of hat. I live in this neighborhood. But there are other neighborhoods where I'm like, I don't want to wait at the light. It's 11 o'clock, 11:30 at night, 12 o'clock at night. I don't want to sit at the light for 2 minutes. Why am I sitting at a light for 2 minutes? And I'm the only car on the whole street. So it's that kind of, it requires that kind of thinking to think about how do we move traffic in the city. And if somebody at City Hall is listening to me, turn this on for your peoples. If we're going to have artificial intelligence, then make it useful, until it takes over and kills us all. But in the meantime, even in the Terminator movies, it takes a minute before they kill us all. So just say it. So I need traffic lights that are sensitive to the movement of traffic so that there is no traffic. So there is no traffic because, we treat traffic lights in this town like we hate cars. And it shouldn't be like that. It should be smooth. You should be able to smoothly drive through the city. This is not an unmanageable city. But I'm just saying, if we're going to use artificial intelligence, yeah, it's all well and good to put like 8,000 cameras up. But why would you do that when you could just fix the traffic lights? I'm just getting to ask the government to pilot a program here. Somebody's working on some AI, and please spare me the invasion of privacy. Your privacy is already invaded. Every time you walk into a public space, they know who you are. They see you. If I go missing, they'll track the last places I was at. My phone could tell them the last places I'm at. They could see cameras will tell them I was at the liquor store. I was at the. I'm just saying. So that's all. So anyway, I'm gonna take a break, and I'm gonna be back with Hamden Chief Shelley Carter at 10:15. She's gonna talk about the girls' fire camp that's coming up, that's starting to jump off, and it's free. It's gonna take place in Bloomfield, and it is designed to give girls opportunity to consider a career in public safety. And I find that exciting. So I shall be back at 10:15 with the good assistant, the newly minted Hamden Assistant Chief Shelley Carter. I'll be right back.
Hi, this is Babz Rawls-Ivy from New Haven, Connecticut, and you're listening to WNHHLP 103.5 FM, streaming live at newhavenindependent.org.